Frogger just played against some of the best Koreans and it went about as well as you'd expect. But just because his team got slightly rolled doesn't mean that this match wasn't comedy gold.
Frogger, why have we got to spawn now, Frogger?
So, were there actually any highlights from Frogger? Is there anything to learn from one of the most infamous Lucio players of all time? Well, buckle your seatbelts because there's a lot to learn from Frogger's fuck-ups, but also his plays too. First, allow me to set the stage. In early 2023, a group of mostly Australians banded together to form the Miku fan club, or MFC to avoid copyrights. I actually don't know why Frogger has such a strong passion for Miku, but there you go. He leveraged his 250,000 subscribers to help market the team, who, to be honest, mostly functioned off hype moments and aura.
Let's go!
Fast forward to the start of this year, and the team would feature some unironically talented players, so it's not too much of a surprise to see them qualify for Stage 1 in Asia. Now, of course, addressing the elephant in the room, one of the players in the Miku fan club, Newish, got exposed for inappropriate conduct with a minor. But honestly, that might get its own video. It's not a shock to see then that everyone who knew Newish denounced his name publicly, including Frogger. Thankfully, the match Frogger played against Zeta Division, one of the most competitive teams in the world, didn't feature Newish at all. And even better, the last map was unforgettable. But that begs the question, what was Frogger supposed to do? I mean, if you were playing against some of the best players in the world, barring Violet maybe.
Okay, well,
oh my Violet Ajax!
that's
no
an
way,
Ajax,
no way.
What would you do? Well, you gotta start with the basics. Miku fan club are basically playing the exact same comp as Zeta, but with a Widowmaker instead of the Genji. The trade-off? Widowmaker can outvalue the Genji if she can stay alive. And as you probably guessed, that's the tricky part. This is where Frogger comes in. He needs to understand that his main role is to prevent the Genji from getting on top of his Widowmaker. And when he eventually does, he speeds his Widowmaker out while booping the Genji away. I say all this because this is exactly what Frogger doesn't do. Right off the bat, we see the strengths of that double hit scan comp. Color Hex domes Flora while Aki catches Finn. But then, Frogger, clearly the best Lucio of our generation, boops the Genji into his Widowmaker, and yeah, not hard to see how Color Hex, much like Rex, exploded. What should have happened here is the Widow grapples either to the Mega or back to the high ground, while Frogger boops Pelican away this time. And it's crazy that just by doing the basics, MFC would have bagged this fight easily. Color Hex, if you're watching, I also don't know why you decide to have this very weird rollout, avoiding Frogger's speed entirely. This all leads to a dominoes effect of you not having grapple because you had to waste it much later than you would have liked. However, despite Color Hex dying, Miku fan club swing around the side of the bot and are still in a very winnable 4v3. Frogger gets some nice shots into Pelican, meanwhile Bernard is losing the HP trade because he hasn't got a Kiriko with him. With all this being said, Miku fan club still fail the basics, and this time, I don't even think it's fully on Frogger. Romani pops his shout, knifing Pelican and forcing him out. Even better, Frogger gets a nice boop onto Bernard, putting him further into open space. So far, so good. But unfortunately, straight after, Romani tries to land an axe onto Violet, who just takes a step back like nothing happens. Even worse, Niang can barely see anything, and Frogger misses the majority of his shots onto Bernard. Combine all this, and Bernard somehow walks out like he's in the Matrix. What should have happened here is Miku fan club burned Bernard from literally every direction possible and he would have died. With that being said though, Frogger does make a really nice move to the high ground, making sure that Pelican can't recontest it. All of a sudden, despite Flora and Finn coming back, it seems that the Miku fan club have found their footing. Niang catches Bernard as soon as he walks up, and Frogger would have gotten a very nice boop had Bernard lived. Now, with the Queen dead, just like the UK, you'd surely think the Miku fan club would have this fight in the bag, right? Well, Frogger wastes his amp, and because he fails to clear the Genji yet again, Pelican is able to pelt Romani with shurikens, eventually leading to his death. I wish I could tell you why my GOAT Frogger amps a full HP team and lets Pelican on the loose, but honestly, I've got no clue. To make matters worse, Frogger ends up humping the underside of the bridge, eventually getting chopped by Pelican. Now, I know this video is about Frogger, but I want to take a moment to appreciate ColorHex's insane shot onto Violet.
He can get it going. Grapple into spawn. Violet is very hits for shots! Violet was trying to hunt him down, but ColorHex is wise to the games. Not this time, Violet.
With ColorHex down, Frogger is heading into the next fight with Beat. So let's play a game. Will Frogger A. Ajax, B. die before even being able to Ajax, C. get an actually good beat that stops or creates tempo, or D. beat pretty much nothing? If you guessed D, congratulations, you've earned the Kajor stamp of approval. Starting off, for some reason, Frogger swings right in front of a fully charged Sojourn as well as a Kitsune rush by Finn. I'm actually in disbelief that Frogger gets out of this alive, but maybe that's just because of his insane aura. However, he decides to impulsively pop Beat, even though the majority of Zeta haven't even turned around the corner yet, which makes it a super easy disengage. And while Niang does catch both supports with the overclock, Pelican's able to get a free blade thanks to Frogger's mistake. This is what that third option, stopping or creating tempo, actually means. You stop the tempo from the enemy team when they use ultimates, or you create tempo yourself by allowing MFC to push around the corner. Frogger's special moments don't stop here though. After ColorHex lands 2 magical picks, Frogger chooses to square up to Bernard, and it goes about as well as you'd expect.
Frogger wants to fight this Junker Queen. Don't do it, Frogger! Why would you fight him there?
Thankfully, Frogger does make up for it, as he does eventually mark Pelican, and while he misses the boop kill, because MFC have such a huge ult advantage, it becomes pretty much impossible for them to lose the fights. However, the little bit of hope for MFC ends up getting crushed as Aki gets collapsed on by Violet. I can't even blame Frogger for this, as he's busy pushing the carts and staying close to ColorHex. He even goes full Reddit mode, booping Flora off the high ground, eventually landing the trade. But for the content, Pelican chooses to solo blade the key threat, Frogger. Now, that might seem like a joke, but considering what's about to happen, maybe Frogger really is the key threat. Moving back to the middle of the map, Aki pops the Kitsune across the high ground. Unsurprisingly though, Zeta disengage entirely, and actually, a 2-man hit squad of Violet and Pelican flank all the way around to catch ColorHex. And before ColorHex even realizes, it's too late. Again, I'm not even gonna blame Frogger for this one, I just think it's a really good play by Zeta, considering the Genji and Lucio stay unscouted the entire time. Despite this, Frogger manages to one-up Violet. As soon as Violet returns from his side quest to kill ColorHex, Frogger immediately matches him, booping him to the left, which allows Aki to land some crucial kunais. This perfectly sets up Frogger to land the finishing blow into Violet, creating this timeless screenshot that will be cherished for all of time. Things get even more comical next fight as Violet initiates a duel with Frogger and Pelican even commits the solo blade once again. This time though, Frogger just manages to escape by the skin of his teeth, with Pelican just staring AFK, depressed that he couldn't get the kill. Now, Zeta are clearly trolling, but as we move to the last fight, there is potential for MFC to make a legitimate comeback. With Flora going to the Bastion troll pick and both DPS ults up for Miku fan club, Niang pops the overclock early, finding 3 crucial picks before going down. Ignoring the dodgy power slide by Niang, this is unironically a really good play by MFC because by going early, you're not giving time for Pelican or Finn to farm up their ultimates. Frogger does his best to try and avenge Niang by catching Bernard, and this overclock play actually allows MFC to get the checkpoints. But unfortunately, Frogger overstays his welcome in spawn, which pretty much seals the deal for MFC. Considering Frogger wasn't that far off beat, if ColorHex had used his sights early, similar to the overclock, and got on a pick onto Pelican or Finn, this fight could have looked different. Maybe Frogger's got enough time to get that beat and potentially put this game down to the wire, but I'm probably coping. This was never going to be some deep dive into some game-changing macro. but hopefully I've shown that behind all the chaos, Miku Fan Club does have some talented players, including Frogger, even if their team play is a bit questionable. At the end of the day, MFC is Frogger's content machine. It provides content for his YouTube, his Twitch, and it makes poor fuckers like me market his name even more. And honestly, that's the real genius behind Frogger. If you enjoyed, be sure to follow my Twitch and get my Spalo approved coaching down below if you actually want to climb. Until next time.